So, you guys would not believe me and my camp, my whole camp are in a argument. It's not really an argument. It's kind of like a friendly banter, sparring kind of. I be destroying them with my argument kind of thing. But today we are going to discuss the artist formerly known as Kanye West. We are going to discuss Ye because I and my buddies all do not agree. Is he a nut job? Is he a genius? Like, what is going on here? What are we dealing with here? Because some people keep saying, oh, he's just so smart and the things he's doing, oh, it's over your head. And I'm just like, okay. So we all decided that I would pull the cards on it, and whatever the cards say, that's what it's going to be. Okay, so you get to be in on this little shenanigan. You get to see what I discovered along with everybody else, as well as myself, because I haven't interpreted these cards yet, so we all getting ready to be surprised. But I am willing to accept that I could be wrong. I'm always willing to accept that, because there have been times when I've thought things and then pulled cards on it, and I was wrong. My initial thoughts were not correct. So I'm always willing to accept that. So whatever the cards say, I will go along with that. All right. So my name is QueenAusetHeru, and thank you for joining us for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to somebody else who might want to hear about this madness. Please leave us a positive comment in the comment section. And if you'd like to get a reading of your own, please hit me up on social media or email me. I would be so glad to give you a reading. All my information is underneath this video, as well as my Patreon, my Amazon wish list. It is the holidays, and gifts are my love language. And shout out to everybody who's been sending me gifts. You guys are so sweet. Oh my God. Let me see what else. My Ask an Aquarius merchandise is underneath there, and of course I'm going to put a list of all the I've used several different decks in this particular reading, so I'm going to put a list of all of them underneath this video at the top, so if any of you were interested in checking out these cool decks, you can. Alright, so what is the bottom line on Ye? First of all, card number 1, card number 2, and card number 3 are all reversed. Now, if you're a reader, you already know that reversals don't necessarily mean that something is awful, terrible, and tragic, but in some cards it does. It depends on what the card is. Sometimes the reversal is actually better than the upright. Like, for instance, if you get the reversal of the Queen of Swords, she's less biting sometimes, less cutthroat. She's a little less, but in this particular case we're looking at Ye. So I'm going to put these into the upright. I don't want you to have to look at them upside down, but remember that these all came to us in what we call the reverse. We put them in the upright so you can check out the cool artwork. All right, so this is card number 1, and we saw it flipped upside down, the Knight of Cups. This is telling us that, and the guy is brown skin and looks a little bit like Ye. Okay, I see you, universe. This is telling us that he is, he got some problems, because the Knight of Cups in the reversal, the cups indicate emotion sometimes. It can indicate other things too, but in this particular case, it indicates emotion. So this is telling us that he is emotionally disturbed. When the Knight of Cups is reversed like that, that's what that means. That means that his feelings very quickly, very easily overtake him. So a lot of the impulsive behaviors that we see, that's what it has to do with. It has to do with his emotions. They just take over. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm somebody who has a really hard time with impulse control. And I think he does too. And the reason I'm saying that is because those of us who have a problem with impulse control, some of the times we do and say things before we even realize we've done or said them. And then it's like, oh, well, can't take it back now. So some of the bizarre things that he says, this is why. And it's very interesting to me too, because you all know that I used to have this sociopathic, narcissistic ex. And he used to always get this card when I used to look at our cards. And I never told him I looked at our cards. This is a trade secret that's coming out today. But I used to always look at our cards. And he always got this card reversed. And he was one of the most bizarre individuals I've ever met in my life, and he's a Cancer. Now Kanye is a Gemini, so he doesn't have that water connection, but they both have that disturbed emotional problem connection. So some of the bizarre things he says and does, it comes directly out of his emotional problems, and the rest of the world, we're looking at him like huh? And this is what it is about. So guys, this is bad. I'm just going to tell you right now, this is bad. It's actually worse than I thought, because card number 2 is the Magician. So the Magician reverse, remember, is all smoke and mirrors. Kanye puts on a really good show, and the Magician reverse also indicates problems in the mental, because some of the times when you're a Magician reversed, you believe your own delusions, and then you sell them to other people who then believe them. And this is the thing I was saying about him, and I'm like looking at this, and I'm like, you know what, I went into this thinking, yeah, let's see what we see, but everything I thought about him is here, except it's worse. It's worse than what I was thinking, because the Magician often has remember I said the delusions, right? So we have the delusions from the Magician, we have the emotional problems coming off the Knight of Cups. So it's like we have a really screwed up person here. It's nothing else I can call it. Now, the Magician being reversed is also problematic for other things, because the Magician is all about manifestation. So if your Magician is reversed, then you're having a hard time with your manifestations. And we have seen in the past few weeks, he's had a lot of financial problems. He's been dropped by different companies. And I don't know how much money we're talking, because it's way over my head. It's way over my pay scale. So I don't know how much money we're talking, but I'm certain it's more money than I've probably ever had combined. He's lost in the last couple of weeks. So his Magician ain't magicianing. His manifestations are going in the opposite direction. His life is tanking, basically. So he's going to have to figure out a way to get himself out of this. People that are saying, oh, he's a genius, he wanted out of this contract, and this is how he did it. Nah, he might have gotten out of that contract that he didn't want to be in. Yeah, okay. But this was definitely not his plan. This is a catastrophe. Okay, this is a catastrophe, and I don't care what he says or what nobody says. This is a catastrophe that is greatly upsetting him, probably causing a great deal of anxiety, probably messing with his depression. All of this is not good. Now, the one thing I can say is check out the Four of Wands over here. Because we see the Four of Wands here, the one thing I can say is that this is like his outcome card. So this is what's going to happen moving forward. So the Four of Wands is reversed. So this is telling us that he's still going to be all right. I mean, he's not going to be living, in the projects, or, in a trailer park somewhere, or in a hut in Timbuktu. He's going to be okay. I mean, financially speaking, he's still going to have more money than the rest of us. But he's not going to be what he was before, unless he does something in the future. And we can't see that far into the future. We're only seeing to this card. So as far as this card is concerned, he's going to be fine. He's just not going to be where he was before, until he builds himself back up, if he's able to build himself back up. And the reason why I said if to that is because I got 2 clarity cards for him, and they both came up this way in the reverse. Okay, that's how they came up. So we're going to turn them into upright so I can explain to you what's going on. Any of you that know how to read tarot, you already saw what just happened. You know what's going on. This is more emotional problems. He got a lot of them, y'all. The Three of Swords is telling us that he's heartbroken. You see this right here, that heart that is pierced? Those are three major wounds to his heart chakra. So this man is really heartbroken. So all of this stuff that's happening with him, the mental problems, all that kind of stuff, it's all stemming from that. I mean, he was born with the, you know, mental disturbance issues, whatever that was, you're born with that. But at some point in your life, as things start to go wrong, some of the times it will really take over a person's mental. And that's what we're seeing here. Swords is the mental. So this agony, this grief, this sorrow, these pains have taken over his mental. So it being reversed makes it that much worse. We get the indication of all kinds of love triangles too. So his love life is never going to be quite right. Which doesn't surprise me. When you have all these mental health issues, how can you find a way to have easy relationships with any kinds of people? So he needs to do some healing. He needs to go away, you know, to one of them little retreat places and, you know, do some healing on himself, because this is really bad, especially with it being reversed. Now, the Ace of Cups is next to it right here. And again, cups is emotion. And when it's tipped upside down, it indicates being overwhelmed. So his like I said before, his emotions do overwhelm him, and right now he's coming in and out of overwhelming situations. So between the grief and the issues and the heartbreak and all of that, Kanye's not in a good place. So we really should be praying for Kanye, or encouraging him to do something about this, you know, something along those lines, and not encouraging him to keep on acting bizarre. That is too many cards to have. I mean, that was what, 4 cards that indicates problems with mental health? That is way too many to have in one spread. Now we're going to see his archetype. Who is Kanye? This one came up reversed. So we're going to read it that way, but I'm going to put it in the upright so you can see the artwork. And this one came up reversed too, but we're going to put it in the upright so you can see the artwork. So the first card I like a lot, because this card says Kanye sees himself as the hero. Okay. We talked about those delusions, right? And the card itself, let's see what it says about the hero. Passion for a journey of personal empowerment. He sees himself as a hero. He sees himself as somebody who cannot be controlled. I've heard him say that out of his own mouth. He sees himself as somebody who's empowered and basically is better than the other celebrities, the other people in the world, because he can say and do what he wants and he can't be controlled. So he sees himself as this hero, you know, and it's like, wait, what? What are you talking about? I mean, I will give him the fact, at least, you know, being empowered is a good thing. That's a good thing. It's good to be empowered. I like that aspect of it. But there's a lot of, again, delusion around that. Now, this one here says the shadow places material considerations and security above that self-empowerment. So yeah, he has that hero complex and this empowerment thing going on in this card, but right over here we're seeing that he's placing other things over top of that. Material things, clout, fame, wealth, all kinds of things like that. And right now that does make sense, because they just said that some of his business dealings had tanked. So it would make sense that right now he would be in a place of focusing on money, but he was already in this space. So that empowerment, you know, that is something that's important to him, but he's willing to sell his soul. And I think I've even heard him say that term before, sell myself. I think I've heard him say that before. So he's in a really unusual place. And these two things don't belong together. You know, this is, no wonder, you know, his mental health is suffering, because this is really two polar opposites and having to deal with that. So that's terrible. And then this one here, check this out. Shadow attributes, voyeurism and falsifying information. So the other thing that we're seeing here is that a lot of things that he says are delusions, right? We talked about the delusional part. But the other part is that he's lying about certain things. Falsifying information is straight up lying. So some of the things he's telling us are true. Some of the things he's telling us are straight up lies that he manufactured. Some of the things are delusions that he probably thinks are real. Those are the scariest ones. And he's a voyeur. And I remember somebody told me that he bought a house directly across the street from Kim Kardashian. Stalk much? Voyeur much? That's what a voyeur does. So I'm like, this boy real disturbed. And this is what I was saying. He has all the hallmarks of somebody who's very disturbed. Now, this is interesting too, because I had to ask sock monkeys what they thought Kanye should do. And they gave us some very intellectual answers for sock monkeys, I'll tell you that. Now, this one came up reversed like that, but we're going to put it in the upright so you can actually see it. These are a bit glossy and large, but they're not in your face. Good. Alright, so the sock monkey said that he needed to be silly. Be silly is all about relaxing. Remember I talked about him needing to go to a retreat center or something like that. Be silly is about that. It's about relaxing. It's about, not being so, wound up. It's about letting yourself calm down. Get off of the internet and, just let yourself go on a vacation or a journey or something along those lines. Be silly, laugh, have fun. He needs to just detach from the money, the fame, the power, the arguments, the music. He needs to just detach from everything and just spend a little bit of time, 2 weeks, a month, 3 months, something away from it all and allow himself to center, to ground, to get his mental health under control, to calm down. This is what we see going on here. So that's what the sock monkeys are giving him. They also said that he needs to take it slow. Baby steps is about taking things slow. And I mentioned like slowing down. He should do that. He should go. Somebody said he had a place in Wyoming. Maybe he needs to go out there and get some animals and pet them or something. He needs to take baby steps. He needs to slow down and he needs to calm himself down. And interestingly enough, this one came up in the reverse. Now, I don't usually read oracles, not all of them, not all the oracles in reverse. And this is not one I generally read in reverse, but it came up in reverse. So when I looked at it, I was like, this one is talking about like needing to tap into, a higher power. But when it's reversed like that, it's saying that he's tapping into something, but it's not real what he's tapping into. And I don't know what he taps into, spiritually speaking, because they're telling him to go to his God and the angels and, stuff like that, ancestors, things like that. And I know that he does have a church, and I know that he does all these things at his church. I don't know what those things are, but I've seen clips like the rest of you online, and they're telling us that whatever he's into is not helpful. Whatever it is, it's reversed. So it's either bad, like some negative type stuff I don't even want to go into, or it's something that is happening that's just not helping. Like maybe, you're going to church, you're reading your Bible, you're going to the mosque, you're going to the temple, you're going to whatever you're going to, but it's not really helping you because of you're not taking it in, you're not following the principles, but whatever the case is, it's not helping. So he's either doing something that's not good for him or something that's not helpful. And either way, the sock monkey is like, you need to turn this around. Now, because everybody asked me, I pulled some cards also on him and Kim. Everybody and their grandmother was like, what is the deal with Ye and Kim? So I'm going to tell you. These all came in the upright, and except for this one. This one was reversed. So I'll explain what that means as well. Alright, so let's see. All right. So what this is telling us is that this one right here, this is Kanye's card. Ye's card is telling us that he believes that him and Kim have unfinished business, that it's not over, quite frankly. And he really believes that if she would talk to him and work with him, that they can work it out. He actually wants forgiveness. He wants her to forgive him to forgive her, that kind of thing. And he wants them to move forward. So this is where his delusion is. Because Kim is triggered by him. She's angry. She does not like the things he's embarrassing her. She does not like the things that he does in the public eye. She really thinks that he's not taking good enough care of his mental health. She thinks that he's constantly triggered by stupid stuff. So it's like they trigger each other. She pisses him off when he does the things that he does. And I don't know what the heck she does to him. But I mean, he's triggered anyway by other things as well. So they go back and forth. So neither one of them is like in the right, but she realizes that this relationship does need to be over and that it's nothing happening. But he doesn't have that understanding yet. He still wants forgiveness because she got this card for her clarity card reversed. And this is not the card you want to get reversed. See? The romance card. So she feels like it's dead. Even if she agreed to get back together with him, because he could talk her into it. It would be a hard sell, but he could probably talk her into it. But even if he did, she wouldn't stay with him. They're always going to break up because she's always going to be triggered by his behavior, and he's never going to change. Until he gets this together, he's never going to change. And this card here, I told you, was in reverse. This is saying, you know how you meet somebody and you have sparks and, oh my God, they're so attractive and, you like them so much. This is saying that the sparks are dead for her. They're dead. They're gone. They've been extinguished. Somebody threw water on them sparkles, So basically, she's not there. He's still thinking it's a possibility, and she's telling us that there is not. And I thought that was very interesting. So I pulled more cards to see why, what's the deal? And this card here came up reverse, the risk. This card here came up in the reverse. So I'm going to show it to you in the upright. And you see how all these cards, this was in the upright, came up in the reverse. Come on. So many cards being in the reverse is definitely a sign to whoever is reading the cards. I'm trying to get this thing to hold these up. Let's hold these back. I don't know why they're leaning forward like that. That's strange. Alright, let's push them back. So these cards are telling us right here, there we go, that it's a gamble. He's willing to take that gamble and she is not. She's avoiding him and avoiding the situation as much as she possibly can. Because basically, like I said earlier, she doesn't think it's a great idea. So they're both in two different places. Kim sees him as an ex, somebody that she has moved on from, and she sees the relationship as being toxic. So she feels like their relationship was too toxic, and then here we are, solitude. So she feels as though they need to be separate. I need to go my way to my corner. You need to go your way to your corner. You are my ex. And that even looks a little bit like him. He wears things like that, interestingly enough. So Kim is at this place where she just doesn't want to be bothered with him. And she is being bothered, as we see in the news and things like that. I mean, doing family things. Kim is big on family, and she's not going to, slight her children. So she seems to be doing the right thing, at least in that area. I don't know much about Kim. I mean, I've seen her like you guys online, but I really don't follow the Kardashians and stuff like that. But I do see her and him doing things together, and sometimes, like with the birthday party for one of the younger girls, I think her youngest girl, there was a birthday party and Kanye straight acted out. So we do see them coming together and things like that, but she doesn't want to be bothered. She thinks the whole thing is toxic, and she just wants to avoid it. And she wants to go off and do her own thing. We saw her dating, what was that, Pete Davidson. Somebody told me they broke up. He dating somebody else. So, you know, Kim will be dating somebody else soon eventually too. So basically the bottom line is that she doesn't want this. So anybody out there that's waiting for the two of them to get back together, I'm going to tell you, don't hold your breath, because even if they do get back together, they're not ever going to stay together. This couple is doomed. This couple is doomed. The relationship is toxic, and he is too mentally ill. And people that don't want to accept it, look here. You promised me when I pulled these cards you would accept it. And we've seen 4 cards dealing with mental illness with him. So he even said it on the Tonight Show that he was bipolar. I mean, this is not something that I'm surprised to see. I'm just surprised to see how bad it is, to be honest with you. So anybody that's waiting for them to get back together, I'm sorry, he's not mentally healthy enough for a healthy, stable relationship. He is not. It's not good for her to be with him. It's not good for the kids to see whatever this toxic dynamic is, because then they're going to take that into their relationships. This is just not good. So at this point, we have to all stop pretending that Kanye is okay and he's just mastermind genius. I'm not saying that he's not a genius. I know he's a musical genius. I know he's very intelligent too. But what I'm saying is that what he's doing is not some calculated mastermind plan to take over the industry. He's losing his mind right in front of us, and some people are just refusing to see it. The same way, I don't understand this, because a lot of things happen in popular culture that to me are obvious that people just refuse to see, and this is another one of those things. Just the other day, he went to have dinner with Donald Trump and some white supremacists, right? And Donald Trump said that he is a very disturbed man. And I never agree with Donald Trump. Never. But today, even a broken clock is right 2 times a day, right? Because he is definitely right about that. This is a very disturbed person. And yes, he's an intelligent person. Yes, he's a musical genius. Yes to all of those things. But none of that matters when your mental health is so out of control. So he needs to go handle it. But of course, he don't know me. He not gonna watch my video and care, you know. Kanye probably would cuss me out. But the bottom line is that is what's going on. So don't delusion yourself to thinking anything else. Okay? All right, guys, it's time for us to get going. If you have any more questions about popular culture, please send them to me. I really enjoy these. I enjoy popular culture questions. It takes me, because, you know, tarot is so, you know, serious, you know. I'm usually dealing with people hurting and relationships and, you know, stuff like that. So it's fun to just look at some celebrity gossip, except for when it comes up something like this. This is not really fun. This is really sad. And, you know, that kind of thing. But I will look at things like this too. Okay. So if you have some other celebrity type gossip or some other popular culture things you want to look at, inbox me or hit me up on social media. And if you have an idea that I like, you may see it on Ask an Aquarius. All right, guys, you come back soon because I got a lot more to say. See you later.